Dilkhwaz Ahmed immigrated to the United States from Iraq 15 years ago. She runs a nonprofit in El Cajon for domestic violence victims. Ahmed has traveled to Iraq several times over the last 2 years to counsel Yazidi women who have escaped from ISIS. I met up with her recently at a San Diego park to talk about her work and what is happening to these women.
What have the Yazidi women seen? What have they endured?
They experience that being bought and sold in 1 week for 10 times. They seen different guys buying them, raping them, torturing them, killing them if they did not obey to their needs.
How young are the girls?
They were raping girls as young as 9 years old to 50 years old. They paying a lot of money to buy young women, 15, 10, 12, for $10,000 to $20,000.
You heard so many stories about these women being captured and the atrocities that were committed against them. Was there one story in particular that stood out for you?
One specific story is a story of young women. So when ISIS invaded their city, they killed her husband. And they took her. They took her 10 years old daughter. She said, in front of me, a Saudi guy came and bought her. She told me that they took 2 of my kids, 5 and 6 years old, and 1 week baby. And they poisoned them, they killed them. She was crying by telling me she was not able to have a decent funeral for her kids. And when I told her what stood up for you specifically, she said, my daughter. My hope is one day I can find her. I think she's alive, she said, but I just don't know where is she now.
What did these women say about their ISIS captors and who these men were?
They say they were from different countries. They were from Nigeria, Algeria, they were from Yemen. Even somebody told me there were a white guy from Australia who bought her. And her question was, what was those people doing in my country? So that was a big question. She said from all over the world, there were people there.
And what did these ISIS men say to the girls, to the women?
They say, we ask them, why do you do that to us? Like, why are you torturing us? I belong to a husband, how could you marry me? They say, just because you are not Muslim. God told us to do that to you.
You met the women in refugee camps in the outskirts of Mosul, Iraq. These women have now been rescued from ISIS. What condition are they in physically? What condition are they in mentally?
Physically, they are suffering from a lot of injuries of torture, of burn in their bodies. Some of them have a lot of miscarriages. Emotionally, they are suffering from a lot of nightmares and trauma. And they are walking just with body, just a body. They don't know where they are walking to and where their next step will be. It's just their life, but they don't enjoy life.
You're a trained counselor. What do you tell them?
When I go there, my job is to support them, to have a voice of their own, and to make sure that they are not alone, and what happened to them is not their fault. So they need to speak out. Once they start to have their voice, so once we start to empower themselves, this is the beginning of the healing.
You've been to Iraq several times over the last 2 years, actually since 2014 when ISIS first rose to prominence. You were last there in August. What compels you to help these women?
I'm a Kurdish and I'm a woman. I'm an activist. I'm an immigrant. In 1980, Saddam Hussein attacked Kurdish people and he genocided 180,000 people. The entire community and the entire world were silent toward Kurdish people. So the story, it repeated itself with the Yazidi people and nobody want to take any action. That's what motivates me. I have a good life. I live in America. I'm enjoying freedom. So it's time for me to give back some of the privilege that I gained during this 15 years being in the United States. It's time for me to go back there and give back.
Dilkhwaz, thank you so much for speaking to me today.
You're welcome.